laws behind the scenes. He's offering refugee asylum for Central American minors. Here's a newsflash. We had that. But then last year in 2018, he stopped that. And so it's like, what are you offering me? You're offering me something that you already took away? Well, that's not a compromise.
Well, it's the art of the deal, though.
There you go.
Yeah, what kind of deal is that?
And he tries to take away status for Vietnamese refugees. Right. And he's getting smacked courts left and right. Yep. So there's a thinking that what he's offering is just anticipation of what the courts are going to rule anyway, that your TPS and your document.
But he's bargaining on the backs of DACA's young people. Okay, right. That's the other thing. And this is why this is hostage taking. This is not negotiation. He is literally saying, well, I'm going to maybe let these kids stay here a little bit longer if you give me what I want.
The courts have already given him that time, though.
Exactly. So the courts have already declared, and there's no guarantee what's going to happen after 3 years. So again, it's hostage taking. It's not bargaining. It's not negotiation.
So, Cal, let me ask you,
no deal.
What changes it? Because you could convince yourself that the Fox News feedback loop will never change a policy because everything he does is brilliant. He watches it and said it's brilliant. But things do change. I mean, not much, but he backs off the kids in cages policy, although it's worse than we ever knew. And if you look at the polling, you know, Gallup has him lower than ever. So there is some injection of reality. Where do we get the injection of reality that moves it? I'm worried it's going to be, say, an airplane
It's the airport walkouts, right? It's TSA workers getting... If we hit Tuesday is another marker. That's another paycheck missed for federal workers, right? I've worked inside the federal government. I have furloughed people. And when you hit that first federal holiday and you haven't been paid in 2 weeks, and working in airport security, by the way, has to be, I mean, that's a very difficult job. I mean, travel in and out of JFK on a regular basis. I think it's airport shutdown. I think it's some kind of massive thing where the economy grinds to a halt. You kind of, I think, nailed it. Imagine reading this in headlines in American papers if a foreign government was separating children from families, was disappearing kids, was losing track of them. We would have travel warnings. We would have protests outside their embassy.
But we obviously don't have that.
Exactly.
This is grinding to a halt.
We would say, like, Argentina has slipped back to
authoritarian regime.
And here's the thing, though. It's going to come, it's really going to come to a head because all those people who are watching Fox News are people who are regular, average American working class people. That's who's being affected by the shutdown. Right. You're talking about TSA workers. These are people who work for the federal government who are not living high on the hog. These are oftentimes hourly workers as well.
But he didn't even address them yesterday. He doesn't look there and say, I feel for you, but there's a reason why I'm doing this for your safety, ladies and Americans in the United States. He didn't even say that.
This is who this guy is. He has built his entire business for 40 years off of not paying people, off of making people work for him, and then not paying them and not honoring those agreements. So now he's doing that with our federal workforce.
Mike, I'm going to read a little bit here from Politico's summary of what we saw yesterday afternoon. The White House is couching the president's proposal not just as a means of ending the shutdown, but as the opening volley in a series of conversations that could potentially result in a comprehensive immigration overhaul. We're using that's a big vision there that we could get to that point. But I'm struck that here we are 30 days in, and this is being characterized as an opening volley.
An opening volley. I think, this goes to his own definition of reality. This is how you negotiate. It's a huge failure in negotiation. And I do think that the Chuck Schumer-induced moment of I'll take the mantle of it hurt him more because even though we're in a world of social media, a soundbite can still slay, and that one is as bad as can be. I really do think, though, you did say, this racist wall, and I think that's a big part of it because a wall isn't racist. A wall is a wall. It's a structure. But because it's so associated with Trump, it means everything Trumpian and everything racist.
It's become a Trump memorial.
Yes, it's a memorial. I don't see how they can acquiesce to it without him. Even if in the moment he said, hey, we got together and did a deal, they know he'll be dunking on him the next day
on
social
social
media.
Anymore. It's a see-through steel barrier. He struggled with it because he knows it's not going to fly. And so the see-through steel barrier that you can cut with the Home Depot saw is what we're going to have an additional 230 miles. But he conceded. I mean, he made some concessions yesterday, but we're all, he's on mute.
Let's be clear, no concessions were made yesterday. What he did is regurgitated what was already in an argument had been on the table a year ago. So he conceded nothing. He actually just decided that he was going to repeat and regurgitate what was already on the table from a year ago and try to make it look like his ideas.
And statistics that are wrong, drug statistics that were are wrong. He talked about mothers giving birth control pills to their daughters so when they're raped during the caravan.
Being sexually accosted, which I thought
Well,
was
apparently that's happening left and right. I mean, he had all of these statistics that he was claiming were accurate and, of course, fact-checked to be wrong.
Now, what happens this week? Mitch McConnell has been absent, literally, from these conversations. He has now worked with the White House, says that they're going to bring this up for a vote in the Congress this week. I guess Thursday would be the soonest that we could see a vote on this in the Senate. He's going to need 6, 7 Democratic votes to get this through.
It's pressure points. What happens this week with TSA workers? What happens with the federal government? I wonder if he doesn't think federal workers all live in Northern Virginia and are overpaid. That's how he approaches it. It's almost like that's how he's been briefed. When federal workers live all across America, they're not very well paid. They do very important work for this country. A lot of them are important civil servants. A lot of his speech just seemed like he hitting pop culture, mainstream media references. The thing about natural barriers was like a response to the Beto O'Rourke videos. We've seen in these tweets, this stuff about prayer rugs seems to be like a Hollywood movie thing.
Yeah.
So he's living, the president of the United States is living in a media world. So the answer to your question, what happens this week, is what does Fox News say? Do they say he's on solid ground? How does he gauge that out? Does he feel like he needs to give in? Certainly, I think the sort of memorial project is not going to go away.
Aisha, how inured are how inured are politicians getting to this? To Cal's point, I mean, yes, there could be these pressure points, but there have been pressure points that have gone ignored by the president, and we've seen no change.
At some point, you talked about Mitch McConnell, who's been hiding in a cave, which is really unfortunate and completely disrespectful to this entire moment of time with what's happening in the last 30 days. I think what's going to happen is that there's going to need to be real pressure. The Republicans on the Hill are going to start to feel the pain. Some of the ones on the House side are already saying, wait a minute, right? And so we're going to see how many Republican senators say, you know what? I got to get reelected in 2020.
I got to run.
I got to run.
Yep.
My constituents, I'm hearing from them. This is a shame and it's a stain. And put the pressure on Mitch McConnell to get his act together.
Mitch is up in 2022, by the way.
Right. And I think
Floyd Collins lost in a hole.
If we find him, the point is about him.
we find showing up.
It's a holler, no collar. He's in a holler. So, all right, when we come back, what really prompted Robert Mueller to dispute that bombshell BuzzFeed News story? Why the special counsel's comment may not be enough to get Democrats away from the I word.
We didn't dream up a new way to find the best ramen. We never thought, you know what Mars needs? A dune buggy. We didn't decide you should be able to share your home with travelers from around the world. We're not the ones who imagined one day we'd all be streaming movies. Or whatever she's about to do. But when asked if these ideas were possible, we're the only cloud with the capabilities, experience, and know-how to make them happen. AWS is how.
Billions of mouths, billions of problems. Morning breath, garlic breath, stinky breath. There's a TheraBreath for you. TheraBreath Fresh Breath Oral Rinse instantly fights all types of bad breath and works for 24 hours. So you breathe easy. There's TheraBreath, a Walmart.
My digestive system used to make me feel sluggish, but those days are over. Now I take Metamucil every day. It naturally traps and removes the waste that weighs me down, so I feel lighter. Try Metamucil and begin to feel what lighter feels like. Take the Metamucil 2-week challenge and just take Metamucil every day for 2 weeks. Are you ready for the challenge? Available at Target and Target.com.
Unpredictable Crohn's symptoms following you? For adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease, Stelara works differently. Studies showed relief and remission with dosing every 8 weeks.
Stelara may lower your ability to fight infections and may increase your risk of infections and cancer. Some serious infections require hospitalization. Before treatment, get tested for TB. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or flu-like symptoms or sores, have had cancer or developed new skin growths, or if anyone in your house needs or recently had a vaccine. Alert your doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems. These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal brain condition. Some serious allergic reactions and lung inflammation can occur.
Talk to your doctor today and learn how Janssen can help you explore cost support options. Remission can start with Stelara. These folks, they don't have time to go to the post office. They have businesses to grow, customers to care for, lives to get home to. They use Stamps.com. Print discounted postage for any letter, any package, anytime, right from your computer. All of the amazing services of the post office, only cheaper. Get our special TV offer, a 4-week trial plus postage and a digital scale. Go to Stamps.com/try and never go to the post office again.
It's time for the January savings event on the Sleep Number 360 Smart Bed. It senses your movement and automatically adjusts to keep you both comfortable. It's our weekend special. Save up to $500 on select Sleep Number 360 Smart Beds, plus free premium delivery. Ends Monday.
Yeah, hair loss runs in my family, but I use Keeps, the easiest way to keep my hair. Keeps sends me clinically proven treatments that can stop my hair loss. Learn more at Keeps.com.
He's an icon of the civil rights movement.
Jalo's taught me you might be powerless to stop an injustice, but you can never, ever be silent.
He paved the way for a new generation.
Barack Obama does not become president of the United States without a John Lewis.
With Democrats controlling the House, how will John Lewis continue his fight for justice?
We are prepared. Here and now. Let's do it! Headliners John Lewis with Joy Reid tonight at 9 on MSNBC.
Well, BuzzFeed News is standing behind its report that President Trump directed his longtime personal attorney, Michael Cohen, to mislead Congress about a Trump Tower project in Moscow, despite a one-sentence statement from the special counsel's office saying description of specific statements to the special counsel's office and characterization of documents and testimony obtained by this office regarding Michael Cohen's congressional testimony are not accurate. When the BuzzFeed article broke, Democrats hit the airwaves to respond, some even mentioning the word impeachment.
If the President of the United States, if this report is true, the President of the United States violated the law, if he told Michael Cohen to commit perjury, then certainly that's going to go into the whole discussion we have about whether or not the President should continue that.
This is obstruction of justice. If these facts are true, this is suborning perjury. I think there's no question it's an impeachable offense.
Well, this information is extremely serious. There's no question about the definitions of what is criminal activity.
Aisha, I'm going to go to you first. We did a little bit of media criticism in the last hour. We can dig into that a little bit more here in just a minute. But I want to stick with this first. The degree to which Democrats in Congress, in the House, and the Senate latched onto this. This was a report that they believed in, they thought was accurate, and they began to talk about next steps. Your reaction to the speed with which they moved upon reading that BuzzFeed News article?
Well, I think that here's my reaction generally to the speed at which they're moving. I think they need to move even faster.
Is that right?
It seems to me that the Democrats are still